मिलितं येन गुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूप कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम्। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामिनिति नामिने। नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। Thank you so much everyone for joining, and we are continuing our Gajendra Moksha pastime where Gajendra is praying to Lord Vishnu, and we are continuing the amazing prayers. So I will quickly get started with the 19th verse. Um, so who would like to go first among the reader? We have
I can try.
Yes, Prabhu. Please. Thank you.
Sorry, just one sec. Sorry, just 1 minute. One second, Prabhu. 8. Okay. 8:3:19, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So, yam dharma kamartha vimukti kama bhajanta ishtam gatim apnuvanti kim cha shishoratya apideham avyayam karo tume dabhradayo vimokshanam. Translation. After worshipping the Supreme Personality of Godhead, those who are interested in the four principles of religion, economic development, sense gratification, and liberation obtain from him what they desire. What then is to be said of other benedictions? Indeed, sometimes the Lord gives a spiritual body. Indeed, sometimes the Lord gives a spiritual body to such ambitious worshippers. May that Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is unlimitedly merciful, bestow upon me the benediction of liberation from this present danger and from the materialistic way of life. Purport. Some men within this material world are akami, free from material desire. Some are ambitious to get more and more material profit. And some desire fulfillment in religious life, economic development, sense gratification, and finally liberation. Akamaha sarva kamo va moksha kama udaradhi tivrena bhakti yogena yajeta purusham param. That is Bhagavatam 2.3.10. It is recommended that whatever one's position, whether one demands no material profit, all material profit, or ultimately liberation, one should offer his obedient devotional service to the Lord, and one will get what he desires. Krishna is so kind. Ye yatha mam prapadyante tam sathaiva bhajamyaham. The Lord reciprocates. Whatever even an ordinary living entity wants, Krishna gives. Krishna is situated in everyone's heart, and he gives that which is desired by the living entity. Ishvara sarvabhutanam riddesha arjuna tishtati brahmayam sarvabhutani yantra rudhani mayaya. The Supreme Lord is situated in everyone's heart, O Arjuna, and is directing the wanderings of all living entities who are seated as on a machine made of material energy. Bhagavad Gita 18.61. The Lord gives everyone an opportunity to fulfill his ambitions. Even such a devotee as Dhruva Maharaj wanted the material benediction of a kingdom greater than that of his father. And although he received a spiritual body, he also got the kingdom. For the Supreme Personality of Godhead does not disappoint anyone who takes shelter of his lotus feet. Therefore, since Gajendra, king of elephants, had surrendered to the Supreme Personality of Godhead to get free from the present danger and indirectly from the present danger of materialistic life, why should the Supreme Personality of Godhead not fulfill his desire? Very powerful purport. Very powerful purport. So, this whole point about liberation, I've been contemplating on it a lot lately, and yes, Krishna fulfills the aspiration for liberation as well that someone might have. So any kind of desire we have, we go to Krishna with that desire, it will be fulfilled. So nityo nityanam chetananam eko bahunamyo vidadhati kaman. So as spirit souls, we are all dependent on Krishna, whether in the conditioned state or in the liberated state. In the conditioned state, we are dependent on him, rather his energies, but we deny that, but we are dependent for sure. That is not that never that's never false. Like, we are always dependent. And when a person is liberated, in the sense that a person is realized his eternal position as a servant of Krishna, that person is also dependent on Krishna, but now he knows he's aware of that dependence. So yeah, this purport is very nice. And if we I had heard this somewhere that it's actually not funny, actually quite serious, and it kind of logically makes sense. So when we chant Hare Krishna, we need to have the right desire in our mind. So if we desire enjoyment, if we desire like heavenly enjoyments and things like that, then the holy name will give that to us. So, and then I had heard devotees say that if you want to go to heavenly planets, then that desire will be fulfilled because you are chanting Hare Krishna. And now in the heavenly planets, the years are like very I mean, the about 6 months here are is like one day there or something like that. So then you live for a couple of years there, like 80, 100 years or whatever. And then once your karma is freed, like once your karma is exhausted, the good karma, then you have to come back, right? That's what Krishna says in the Gita. Traividyamam somapa putapapa yadnirishva swargatim prarthayante. Te punyamasadya surendra lokam ashtanti divyan divideva bhoga. So then you have to come back. But then now, because of the time relativity, when you come back, Kali Yuga will have progressed a lot. Like, it will be thousands of years here. So Kali Yuga will have progressed a lot, and then it will be that much more difficult for the souls to practice Krishna consciousness favorably. So it will be that much of a struggle. So the lesson is that we need to have the right desire. Now, some crooked minds like me think that, but then after this Kali Yuga, Satya Yuga is going to come again, right? So what's the issue? But then again, that's just my crooked mind saying like that. But yeah, it's the Lord gives us anything. There is a story I heard in one of the very when like initial years I used to read small Prabhupada books. In one of those books, Prabhupada gives this example. There is an old lady, and that old lady is carrying a very heavy load on her back. She very heavy load she's carrying on her back. That's her daily job. And then she's going on the street, and then the king comes. The king of that area comes, and he tells her that you ask me whatever you want, I'll give it to you. Whatever you want, you just ask me. I'm ready to become your son, and take you in the kingdom as my mother. I'm ready to do that. You just tell me what you want. Whatever you want, I'll fulfill that desire. So you know what the and that Prabhupada writes, that lady asked him to carry that load, like just to take that load off her head. So Prabhupada writes there that similarly, when we practice bhakti, or we practice spiritual life, when we might practice it with the intention that give me some small thing, get rid of this little problem and things like that. Although that is okay to some extent, but then ultimately we should desire to become a lover of the Lord by practicing bhakti yoga properly. So this is, yeah, a lot of preaching to myself as well. That's all.
Yeah, thank you so much, Prabhu, for expanding on this purport, and especially covering like all the important points that you mentioned, that how Krishna can provide everything, and we can pray Krishna for what we need. That will also purify us, even though our target is to serve Lord unconditionally. But even we have desires and we pray Krishna for it, it will also purify. It is also like it is also progressive march on path of bhakti. Like Dhruva Maharaj, he started with a desire. Uh, he started with a desire that his father, he was not able to sit on his father's lap, and he wanted a kingdom bigger than his father or grandfather Brahmadev. And but he took shelter of, for that purpose, he took shelter of Lord Vishnu under the guidance of his guru Narad Muni. So as the first word that Prabhupada is quoting in the purport, akama sarva kamo va moksha kamo dhariti, whatever desire we have, it is akam, it is related to material world, spirit or moksha, or maybe spiritual world, whatever it is, but bhakti yoga is solution, because Lord is absolute, and whenever anyone who comes in contact with Krishna for whatever reason, uh, the progress is guaranteed, and then liberation is guaranteed. So uh, I was hearing a Prabhupada's class, and some person was asking Prabhupada. It was a Hindi class that uh, like, I think that Lord Ram came before Lord Shri Krishna. So can I chant Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare? And Prabhupada said that, yeah, you can chant, just chant holy names. That's important thing. He didn't stress on like because he just want, I mean, from that lecture, he seemed that he wanted to connect that particular person with the chanting of holy names, and eventually he will catch up with the right mood, just like Valmiki Rishi did. So whatever our desires are, I think we should pray to Krishna, even though they are material, but praying to Krishna, Om Purna Mada, Krishna is Purna. So even if we're taking shelter of Krishna with some material desires, eventually those will be purified, and then eventually we will be completely transformed with like a calm bhakti without any desire. So thank you. Anyone else have any comments on this particular verse or purport? Yes, Prabhu, please. Vallabh Chaitanya Prabhu.
Yes, Prabhu. So since the example of Dhruva Maharaj is mentioned in the purport, so I was just wondering that because Krishna is in the heart, so he knew that Dhruva Maharaj had the desire to have that kingdom larger than his father or the grandfather Brahma. But did that desire change when Dhruva Maharaj saw Krishna, or during his austerity or during his meditation only it changed?
Yes, Prabhu.
Because it could have been in the example of Gajendra also, Krishna could have given him the entire kingdom to rule because he was already a king in previous life. So I don't know that pastime.
Mhm. Yes, once there is a verse, Prabhu, in the Dhruva Maharaj's pastime, that when he gets darshan of Lord Vishnu, he prays that I was praying for the pieces of glass, but I got diamond. So there is he regrets his like doing bhakti with a material desire. Uh, so there is this mention that, yeah, Dhruva Maharaj thought that, oh, what I was praying for, and then he said, I don't want anything, but still Lord gives him Dhruva Loka, and fulfills his desire. uh,
So he sees the Lord and then he realizes that those were just the broken pieces of glasses, right?
yes,
Or is it
that
before he's already gone above those desires?
after darshan of the Lord, he starts praying, Prabhu. That's what I remember. Lord touch his conch shell to Dhruva Maharaj's head, and then he starts praying. So this verse is part of his prayers.
Got
uh,
it.
yeah, yes, Prabhu.
Thank you.
Anyone have any comment on?
I just want to read that verse. So until he meets the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he still had that very, very strong desire of getting a kingdom bigger than his grandfather. But as soon as he sees the Lord, this is what Dhruva Maharaj says, and I'm going to read it. Oh my Lord, because I was seeking an opulent material position, I was performing severe types of penance and austerity. Now I have gotten you. who are very difficult for the great demigods, saintly persons, and kings to attain. I was searching after a piece of glass, but instead I have found a most valuable jewel. Therefore, I am so satisfied that I do not wish to ask any benediction from you. So the last line, he says that I'm so satisfied with your darshan that I do not wish to ask any benediction from you. Now, till a few moments ago, his only focus was to get this big benediction. After seeing the Lord, he says, I do not wish for any benediction from you. So this answers your question, Vallabh Chaitanya Prabhu, that it was after seeing the Lord that his desire completely went away.
So can I ask a follow-up on that?
Yeah. Go ahead.
So then for us, then how do we get rid of? Because that means for us, those desires, those as it is mentioned in the verses, that those ambitions will still remain till the time we get purified. And how does that purification happens? Is it just by chanting throughout, because it is the Yuga Dharma, the holy name, so we just keep on chanting and keep on purifying ourselves? Because in the case of Dhruva Maharaj, the Lord has to appear and then he gets purified. So then what about us?
Yeah, you want to answer Vamshidhar Gopal Prabhu or Jagannath Gopal Prabhu?
Prabhu, maybe it's in. Can you Prabhu, Gaurakumar Prabhu, because it
Yeah.
seems in.
So basically, my limited understanding is that definitely by thinking of Krishna through prayer, even if we have the material desire, slowly but surely we are getting purified. Unlike worship of demigods, where you will get satisfied and so on. But basically, what happens here is the devotion for Krishna keeps on increasing more and more and more, and your desire, whatever that material desire is, that keeps reducing less and less and less. It's so interesting because it is said that devotees are like agents of Vamandev. So you might ask how? Because initially, when we come to Krishna consciousness, we are told just give a little bit to Krishna, right? Have you heard this? Just continue doing whatever you're doing, but just add a little Krishna in your life. But then slowly what happens is, over a period of time, if you're connected in this movement, in this path, you will find that Krishna starts filling up more and more and more of your life. Just like how Vamandev initially just asked for 3 steps of land. And then it kept on increasing. So Krishna consumes your consciousness so much that all the other things get pushed out. All the other things get pushed out, and you will be completely filled with Krishna consciousness. I hope this analogy helps you, Vallabh Chaitanya Prabhu, but the purification happens with time. But we have to be on this path in the association of devotees.
Yeah, so is it that Krishna gives us that push, or he gives the mercy in the end? Because it seems like till the end there will be some, because this material world is like that, till the end there will be some, at least I don't know, I feel that in this world there will be some ambition or some material desire still be there.
This is a very good question, because several years ago, Rasnath Prabhu had asked this question to Radhanath Maharaj, I remember. So Maharaj mentioned that until we see Krishna face to face, we will have some doubt and some desires also. Both will be there. Doubt will be there. Oh, will I see Krishna? Will I not see Krishna? Or some desires also will be there, that, oh, maybe I should have gotten this, maybe I should have not done that, and say. So he said that till you reach that bhava platform, you will still have some doubt, and some desire also. So that will be there. There's no doubt about it. But the austerity is to stay on this path. The austerity is to stay on this path in spite of all that, all your desires and all your doubts, everything, to continue to do what you're supposed to do. And then eventually you will see Krishna. So that is the point here. So Jagannath Gopal Prabhu wants to add a few things. Please go ahead, Prabhu.
Yeah, I agree totally with you, Prabhuji. And so the main doubt that even I have, I mean, I had, and I also I mean, I theoretically know this, but not like realized it. But so, what do we do till that point, right? Yes, at some point, as Prabhuji mentioned, once we get the darshan of Krishna, we'll not have any desire. Till that point, we will have desires. So, what do we do till that point? So that is where we have to show Krishna our desire to not have any other desire than serving him. So although I might have desires, but and I mean I personally do have so many material desires, and I also pray to Krishna for that. But then we have to always be aspiring for that stage where yes, I'll desire all my desires will be dovetailed towards Krishna directly. That is like staying on the path. And if we can do that and show Krishna a little, that we are pushing a little bit, then Krishna will eventually take it away. I heard this, Gaur Kumar Prabhu had told this pastime long ago uh, in one of the Wednesday Sanghas. One of Indradyumna Maharaj's disciple on her deathbed. So Maharaj happened to go and meet her. She was on her deathbed, and then Maharaj asked her, "What desire do you have?" So she said that I have this desire. I think she said I have the desire to have an apple or something.
Tomatoes.
But then she said tomatoes. But Maharaj, I really don't want this desire. And then Maharaj said, yes, that is the right consciousness. You will have desires, but you don't want those desires. So there is this verse in Bhagavad Gita, Apuryamanam Achala Pratishtham. Samudram apa pravishanti yadvat tadvat kamayam pravishanti sarve na sashantim apnoti nakama kami. So it says that a self-realized person is like an ocean. So although the rivers of desires are always flowing into him, he is always calm and peaceful. So we have to go reach that stage. We have to aspire to reach that stage where desires may be there, but then we are steady in our service towards Krishna. That is Nishtha stage. And then, but desires don't go away; they are there, and slowly, once we reach Bhava Prem, that time they'll go away. So,
Yeah, that book is really nice. Thank you for bringing that up, Jagannath Gopal Prabhu. So that book is called Vraja Leela, and her final moments when she leaves the world. It's a very, very nice pastime. So in the Bhagavad Gita discussions we are having in the mornings, so I put that link somewhere. So maybe Manishika Mataji or Nupur Mataji can post that link on the chat of the book, and others can also benefit. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hey Krishna, thank you for amazing answers, Prabhu. I think I have some follow up on this. I mean, I think it's already answered, but then again, I would like to listen something over this that we just discuss about how we are aspiring for devotion unto Krishna and spiritual world, and at the same time we have material desires, and then until our material consciousness is completely consumed by Krishna, we have to continue, keep practicing, keep in touch. But then this situation of one step being in one boat and one other stepping in another boat, like it's painful. It becomes like a drag. You know that the material desires are not good, but at the same time you aspire for material things and strive for it, pray for it, or we have to work hard for it as well. So like in case of Dhruva Maharaj, it became like he got darshan of uh, Lord Vishnu and his material desire vanished. But in our case, it's drag of years and years, and it's painful and it's discouraging also sometimes. So how we can look at this struggle positively, and 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 take this purification positively. That's my question. Anyone?
I can share something. Of
Yes,
course,
sir.
I'm not at a level to answer this question, but something similar was asked to Mahatma Prabhu, and then he literally gave a lecture on it. So the question was how to pluck out the weeds in our heart. So one of the things and then one follow-up question that came was, how does false ego act? How does it manifest? And then Mahatma Prabhu gave a very nice analogy. So he said it's like we have two stamps with us always. One is this is on one stamp, it's written this is Krishna's, and on another stamp, it's written that this is mine. And then it's like whatever we see around us, we will stamp it with either of these two stamps. In the conditioned stage, we'll stamp it with the second one. This is mine. So then it's like, okay, I see this house, stamp it. This is mine. Okay, I see this car, stamp it. This is mine. And okay, I see this beautiful Mataji or Prabhuji, stamp it, for my pleasure, something like that. And then he said that we should try to at least use the other stamp. So in the sense that, okay, we see something, we see a nice building. Okay, okay, this is nice, but this can be used in Krishna service also. This can be made a temple also. That's it. You are stamping it. This is Krishna's. Okay, then you see a car, right? You similarly you say that, okay, this can be, or this can also be used in Krishna service, right? So this is stamped Krishna's. And then similarly, you see Mataji or Prabhuji, oh nice, this person can serve so nicely, right? Stamped Krishna's. So like that, he says we should try to. So what I gathered out of it is we might have material desires, but then um, we can try to at least dovetail them towards Krishna consciousness in some way or the other. Now there are certain things like the four forbidden things, like the breaking of the four regulative principles, that you cannot really dovetail in Krishna service. But any other material desires, we can try to, as much as I might like programming, or I might be in a in a job where I am not directly Krishna conscious. So one way to spiritualize would be to use the fruits of that, very simple things. And then you have a home, then someone can, like Gaur Kumar Prabhu hosts programs, and then Vallabh Chaitanya Prabhu does the Krishna house programs, right? So he's using his home for the service of Krishna. Yeah, so he might have the desire to have a home, but then now he's spiritualizing it as well. So I guess, yeah, till the point where we only want to desire the service of Krishna, till that point at least we can try to channel our own desires towards Krishna consciousness.
Thank you, Prabhu. Really like to channeling our desires in whatever way we can. Yes, Lekha, please.
I just had a small realization when you were talking about how to take the pain as purification. I think like even if we're going through intense pain, like Krishna actually gives you some glimpse, or he actually like intervenes, and you can actually see some divine intervention in like whatever you're going through. Like you can pray to Krishna that you're going through this, but you will actually, I feel like Krishna actually interferes, and he does something. He gives you, he saves you from something, or he sends you a message through someone, or he just like um gives you a support system. Like he actually intervenes in whatever phase of life we are at, and whatever prayer we are like keeping, whatever we are praying to Krishna. So that actually gives you the strength to understand that, okay, Krishna is watching over this. So I feel like that is one way of understanding, or one way of taking it, as even if you're in pain, you understand that it's purification. Yeah, I just wanted to share that.
Yeah, thank you for sharing that. Okay, we can move to next verse. And can someone confirm that this screen is visible properly?
Yes, Prabhu. Very clear, very visible. Yeah.
Who can go next? Lekha or Vallabh Chaitanya Prabhu?
Yeah, I can go.
Okay.
Ekant, we're reading Sanskrit also, right? Or just translation?
Yeah, both. You can read both, or if you are not comfortable, you can just read English also.
Okay. Ekantino yasya na kanchanartam vanchanti yevai bhagavat prapannaha ati adbhutam tacharitam sumangalam gayanta ananda samudra magnaha tam aksharam brahma param paresham avyaktam adhyatmika yoga gamyam atindriyam sukshmam ivati duram anantam adyam paripurnamide. Translation: unalloyed devotees who have no desire other than to serve the Lord worship Him in full surrender, and always hear and chant about His activities, which are most wonderful and auspicious. Thus, they always merge in an ocean of transcendental bliss. Such devotees never ask the Lord for any benediction. I, however, am in danger. Thus, I pray to that Supreme Personality of Godhead, who's eternally existing, who's invisible, who's the Lord of all great personalities, such as Brahma, and who is available only by transcendental Bhakti Yoga. Being extremely subtle, he is beyond the reach of my senses and transcendental to all external realization. He is unlimited, he is the original cause, and he is completely full in everything. I offer my obeisances unto him. Purport: Anya Bilashita Shunyam Jnana Karmadhya Anavritam Anukulyena Krishnanu Sheelanam Bhakti Ruttama. One should render transcendental loving service to the Supreme Lord Krishna favorably and without desire for material profit or gain through fruitive activities or philosophical speculation. That is called pure devotional service. Unalloyed devotees have nothing to ask from the Supreme Personality of Godhead. But Gajendra, the king of the elephants, was circumstantially asking for an immediate benediction because he had no other way to be rescued. Sometimes, when there is no alternative, a pure devotee, being fully dependent on the mercy of the Supreme Lord, prays for some benediction. But in such a prayer, there is also regret. One who always hears and chants about the transcendental pastimes of the Lord is always situated on a platform on which he has nothing to ask in terms of material benefits. Unless one is a completely pure devotee, one cannot enjoy the transcendental bliss derived from chanting and dancing in the ecstasy of the Sankirtan movement. Such ecstasy is not possible for an ordinary devotee. Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu showed us how one can enjoy transcendental bliss simply by chanting, hearing, and dancing in ecstasy. This is Bhakti Yoga. Therefore, the king of the elephants, Gajendra, said Adhyatmika Yoga Gamyam, indicating that unless one is situated on this transcendental platform, one cannot approach the Supreme Lord. The benediction of being able to approach the Lord can be achieved after many, many births. Yet, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has awarded this benediction to everyone, even to the fallen souls who have no heritage of anything in spiritual life. That is actually being seen in the Krishna consciousness movement. Therefore, the path of Bhakti Yoga is the spotless process by which to approach the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Bhaktyaham ekaya grahyaha. Only through devotional service can one approach the Supreme Lord. The Lord says in Bhagavad Gita 7.1, Maya Shakta Manah Partha Yogam Yunjan Mad Ashrayaha Ashamshayam Samagram Mam Yata Nyashyasi Tachshunu. Now hear, O son of Pritha, Arjuna, how by practicing yoga and full consciousness of me, with mind attached to me, you can know me in full free from doubt. Simply by being attached to Krishna consciousness and by thinking of the lotus feet, of the lotus feet of Krishna constantly, one can fully understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead without a doubt. So this is actually one of my favorite purports as well, because even in the starting, if we go to the first line of the purport, one should render transcendental loving service to Supreme Lord Krishna. It's really amazing to see how Prabhupada has established the system globally where it's so easy to practice. It's like, when you cook, you have a system where you wake up the deities, you offer them bhoga, you offer them prasad. Then once in a while, at least once a week, you go meet other devotees, and whatever you're going through, when you come out of temple, you're always energized. So Prabhupada has brilliantly established this amazing system where somehow or the other you are like attached to Krishna. And as Gaurakumar Prabhu was mentioning earlier, it's like yeah, you start with like three footsteps of land, and then your whole life gets consumed with Krishna consciousness. And I'm pretty sure like a lot of us would have experienced this, where it only keeps increasing as long as we have the faith, and especially when we have association of devotees, you keep getting sucked into it. So I think so I'm very grateful to Prabhupada for that, because he has this framework, and it's up to us to take few steps, and then Krishna is going to take millions of steps towards us. And here it also it's also a very comforting purport for me, because um like Jagannath Gopal Prabhu was mentioning, even I have a lot of these desires, and I know that I'm in danger. Like I am in situations where there is danger, and I want to call out to Krishna, guilt free. Like I know here here in the purport it says that you have to feel bad for asking benedictions to Krishna, but I think um, if not, I feel like it's better for me to discuss and ask for guide and discuss my desires with Krishna and ask for guidance than ask this to anyone else. Like it's better that I talk to Krishna about my desires and my benedictions. Um, Gaur Kumar Prabhu.
Sorry, Mataji, please continue your train of thought.
Oh, okay. And if we go down in the purport, it's fantastic to see how Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has given this benediction to everybody else. Like in this Kali Yuga, this is, I feel like this is the treasure. And even in Sri Vaishnava parampara, Ramanujar has given this benediction. He wrote something called Gadyatrayam, where he got approval from Sri Ranganatha and Sri Ranganayaki Tayar, concept of Sri Ranganatha, that anybody who takes up this process will get liberated, and he made them promise. And it's written in this hymn called Gadyatrayam, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has done the same. Like he has given that benediction, he has given us that promise. So it's very comforting to know that. um and just to reiterate the fact that once we whatever material desires or whatever steps we take, we just like Jagannath Gopal Prabhu was talking about, just stamp it in Krishna somehow, or dovetail it somehow, and I think it's going to get better, and our whole life can become. I truly believe that our whole life can be Krishna conscious, or starting to dovetail towards having a Krishna conscious life completely.
Yeah, really, really beautiful. Like you mentioned, that how compassion of acharyas surpass any limits in
Yeah.
like Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and they make process so easy and helping us to connect to Krishna very easily. Thank you so much, Lekha.
I just
Yes,
want to add just one last point. I was it's also amazing. So there is this YouTube channel called Jeev Jago Media, where Mahavishnu Das Prabhu, he creates short films about Prabhupada's or about Prabhupada's pastimes or other pastimes, and he released a video where Prabhupada actually got a Vanamala from Krishna. Like Krishna basically gave his own Vanamala to Prabhupada, and I was like, I just had goosebumps just watching that. And even if we look at Tukaram Maharaj, they're all like very recent contemporary people. Like we know people who have seen Prabhupada, and Tukaram Maharaj was just here, and he's talked to Vittal, he has seen Vittal, and he's seen Rukmani. So when Gaur Kumar Prabhu was talking about talking to Krishna face to face, I also have this like feeling like it's probably it can happen to any of us if we truly desire. Like we can actually like see Krishna face to face and like talk to him face to face. I just wanted to add that. I just wanted to add that. Yeah, sorry.
thank you. Thank you. Yes. Yes, Mataji, Nitya Mataji.
I think God Kumar Prabhu, you want to share before that?
Yes, Prabhu. Please.
No, I think Nitya can go ahead. I'll speak after that.
Okay.
Yes, so I just wanted to wait until this verse was read, and then I wanted to just speak a little bit about the question that was raised by Vallabh Chaitanya Prabhu in the previous verse. Because it's easy for us to compare ourselves with high stalwart devotees like Prahlad and Dhruva Maharaj, and get a little disappointed or discouraged in the whole process of, okay, first of all, it's a very slim chance that I'll be meeting Krishna. But even if I meet, how is it possible that all my desires are going to get, vanished just like Dhruva Maharaj does? So I think it's very important. So if you look at the translation of this verse, it's very beautiful. He says, Gajendra says, the second sentence, thus they always merge in the ocean of transcendental bliss. Such devotees never ask for the Lord for any benediction. I, however, am in danger. He accepts where he's at. And that is very important for us devotees to do that as well. We have to accept where we are. And then just step by step, baby steps, we have to progress. It's like in a class of students, there is always students who get A grade, and then there is always students who get C, D, and probably fail. But a student who is in the C grade, it's easy to look at the students who are getting A grades and get really discouraged. But they make steps, they go from C to B minus to B to B plus, and then A minus A, A plus. So it is a step-by-step process. It's not, the main thing is to accept that I am here, Krishna. This is all I can do, but I'm giving you the best in this possible situation. I'm giving the best I can. This, because of our karmic nature, situation that we are put in, we have a certain number of certain limitations over our brain capacity or memory or all the resources that we can use to the limitation. But as long as we are maxing out on that, our potential, I think that's what is very important. And in that potential, whatever we can reach, that is it. If we keep comparing ourselves to that, to a huge unachievable kind of level of comparison, then it's very easy for us to get discouraged, and probably we'll just lose that very beautiful essence that Krishna consciousness is allowing us to do. And even in the purport, Prabhupada clearly mentions this just in that the first paragraph in the top couple of lines, unless such ecstasy is not possible for an ordinary devotee. So Prabhupada also accepts that. So I think it's very important for us to not keep comparing ourselves to it's good to get inspiration from from these high stalwart type devotees, to say, okay, to see where the path of progress should be. But it's not to get to compare and to get discouraged. But in today's there is a nectar drop every day from Radhanath Swami Maharaj. It says that bhakti cannot be attained, but it is a gift from Krishna. So it is not that we can memorize verses or keep chanting 64 rounds, 128 rounds, and keep doing it, and then I can attain this. It's not like that. It is the sincere effort that we can maximize our potential whatever position we are at, wherever we are at, maximize the potential, and just pray to Krishna. Krishna, I however I'm in danger, I however need this material desire, please if we can provide this, then I can, and at the same time, please allow me give me mercy, give me the benediction, so that next time this material desire does not bother me. I think that I think we can do this at this level, at our level. I think that's what I wanted to just say. Thank you.
Mataji, I'm so grateful that you brought out these so many very important points from this verse. Like it's I mean, it covers like all the discussion that we had on previous verse, especially this, that how Gajendra accepts where he is, and then I mean, I think, yeah, this was the like most important part of this verse. So thank you so much for bringing it up and highlighting and explaining on it. It really helps. Yeah, Gaur Kumar Prabhu.
Yeah, I just wanted to give some practical examples also, and wanted to add one point that Lekha Mataji mentioned. Yes, it is totally okay to really call out to Krishna, to really pray to Krishna. And there are so many examples, and I'll share a couple of examples. But before I share the examples, I want to also mention Sachinandan Swami, who always tells that if you want to know what your next step should be in Krishna consciousness, just pray for it, and you will get the answer from someone or something around you, for sure. He says the next step will be revealed to you. The only thing that we have to do is have that desire. So the examples that I wanted to share is so Swayam Bhagavan Keshav Maharaj. So he gave a couple of examples. One is when he was doing book distribution, he kept his beads on the street somewhere, and then he went back, and then he lost the beads and the bead bag. Somebody had stolen it. So that night he came back to the Brahmacharya ashram, and then he really called out to Krishna. Krishna, these are initiated beads and I lost it. I'm feeling very bad, but maybe I should ask my Guru Maharaj to chant again on those beads, and tomorrow I will reach out, but I'm really calling out to you for a solution. So he slept with that thought. The next day morning, usually in the morning, after the morning program or during the morning program, they would read a small paragraph of Srila Prabhupada's, from Srila Prabhupada's purport. And that day it so happened that no one else was there. So Swayam Bhagavan Keshav Maharaj, who was Sutapa Prabhu at that time, he picked up the book, and the first line that he reads is, one must take responsibility for not losing one's initiated beads. And the second line he read was, this is Prabhupada writing, out of thousands of purports, this particular purport on that particular day, this is what he read. And the second line was that you must not ask your guru for reinitiating you on those beats. So for rechanting on those beats. So it was very, very clear. It was very, very clear instruction that because he had a sincere desire, he got the answer. So similarly, we have seen in our lives also, if we really call out to Krishna through someone, through some lecture, or through even some karmi person or something, the next step will be revealed. The next step will be revealed. And if you do it, the next step will be revealed. Like that, step by step by step, it will be revealed. And if you take that step, if you pass it, the next step will keep coming. And then very soon you'll realize that you're going closer and closer to Guru and Krishna in a very blissful, wonderful way. It won't be a struggle at all. So just wanted to share that. Thank you.
Thank you, Prabhu. Again, wonderfully expanding this discussion. That especially the example of Swayam Bhagwan Keshav Maharaj, it's really amazing. Thank you so much. Anyone else want to share anything on this verse? Some things I want to mention about this verse is that I mean, this is the beauty of Bhagavatam. I would say, like, see this verse is naturally, it's so poetic, like ekantiko yasyana kanchana nartham vanchanti eva bhagavat prapanna, and then samudra magna. It's naturally very poetic, and when we hear, like, there are many chants, Gajendra Moksha Stotra chants on YouTube, so they are so pleasing to hear. So in literary, even though I don't have any knowledge of poetry and all, but still, even it's just reading and hearing these verses gives us some some joy. So I wanted to mention that especially these few verses in Gajendra Moksha Stotra, they are like really nice to hear when you hear them in with some scales. And and uh, and here, like as Mataji and Prabhuji both like explained, this Gajendra is first speaking about how unalloyed devotees are and how their behavior is, how wonderful, how their activities are wonderful and auspicious. And then or they are always merged in ocean of transcendental bliss. But then he accepts that, oh, I am not at that level, but I am in, and he accepts his position. I'm in danger. And then he prays to Lord and asks for protection. So yeah, it's really important to accept where we are and not have unhealthy comparisons uh, on any level, like on material, spiritual, and just accepting our position and uh, honestly praying to Krishna for helping us out in whatever situation we are, will make us progress in a real sense. And that will only help in long term. So thank you so much for bringing it up. We will move to next verse. Yeah. Vallabh Chaitanya Prabhu, you want to read?
Oh, I think it's Vrinda Gopi Mataji today.
Oh, sorry. Vrinda Gopi Mataji. Yes, please.
Yeah, Prabhu. Can you please
Thank
scroll
you.
down the translation? I won't be able to
Yeah.
read.
You want to read translation?
Yes, please. Yeah, I won't be able to read Sanskrit.
Okay.
The Supreme Personality of Godhead creates his minor parts and parcels. The Jiva Tattva, beginning with Lord Brahma, the demigods, and the expansions of Vedic knowledge, Sama, Rig, Yajur, Atharva, and including all other living entities, moving and non-moving, with their different names and characteristics. As the sparks of a fire or the shining rays of the sun emanate from their source and merge into it again and again, the mind, the intelligence, the senses, the gross and the subtle material bodies, and the continuous transformation of the different modes of nature all emanate from the Lord and again merge into him. He is neither demigod nor demon, neither human nor bird or beast. He is not woman, man, or neuter, nor is he an animal. He is not a material quality, a fruitative activity, a manifestation, or non-manifestation. He is the last word in the discrimination of not this, and he is unlimited. All glories to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. This is a summary description of the Supreme Personality of Godhead's unlimited potency. That Supreme One is acting in different phases by manifesting his parts and parcels, which are all simultaneously differently situated by his different potencies. Parashya Shakir Vividavaita Shruyate. Each and every potency is acting quite naturally. Therefore, the Lord is unlimited. Then there is Sanskrit, which means nothing is equal to him, nor is anything greater than him. Although he manifests himself in so many ways, personally, he has nothing to do, for everything is done by expansions of his unlimited energies.
Yeah. You want to say something on this?
So
Yes.
I don't like, based on this directly, I don't have anything to say, but just in SSR, like where Prabhupada discusses about the 6 opulences of Krishna. So there he was just explaining that he's omnipotent, so what that means and all those 6 things. So I think this is very similar to that, but for me personally, I first time because maybe I've not read that much, but I'm first time seeing this sort of comparison, that he's not this, not that, and um, so this is very just interesting. And I really like the last part that we do here all the time, that he's not directly involved in everything, all his energies are doing, but he's still there. Like even when we say we are in Maya or something, even that is ultimately his energy. So it's just very interesting how everything is just connected to Krishna somehow. Yeah, Prabhu, I think I do not have much to contribute for this one.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, you very nicely summarized actually that how this verse is describing various qualities and how Lord is the doer and he's not the doer at the same time. I think we had in one of our class we had like a lot of discussion on this topic like contradictions about Krishna, like how so it somewhere reminds me of that this verse especially that it describes various qualities various qualities of Lord, and to help the jivas, like his minor parts and parcel, uh, Lord gives 4 Vedas, and 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 then it creates all the living entities, including Brahma, and then as the sparks of the fire or shining rays of sun emanate from their source and merge into it again and again, the mind, the intelligence, the senses, the gross subtle material bodies, and the continuous transformation of different modes of nature all emanate from the Lord again and merge into it. uh, like on the first canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, there we have picture of Mahavishnu, like from whom many Brahmandas emanate, and then at the end, when there is dissolution, everything merges back into Lord. So he's in any situation, Lord is the shelter of everything. He's the source of everything, and at the same time, um, he's not involved with these material activities. So achinta bheda bhet tattva, at the simultaneously existing and non-existing. And Lord is neither demigod nor demon, neither human nor bird or not beast. He is not woman, man or neuter, nor he is an animal. Lord Narsimhadeva, for example, and he doesn't have material quality, fruitive activity, manifestation or non-manifestation. So Jnana Gamya, beyond our understanding. It is said that it is even impossible to understand small aspect of material world created by Lord. So for example, there is so many research on so many small things, some bacteria, some virus, or molecular particles, but still it's unending. There is always something new to discover. This is the complexity of material world, which is just small potency of Lord. So what to speak about his personality, supreme personality of Godhead. So I think this verse nicely summarizes it. And then Gajendra is praying to Lord in this way, and in the end he says like all glories to the supreme personality of Godhead. And Srila Prabhupada, with various quotations, he like insists that how even though Lord is manifesting so many things, personally he has nothing to do. Na tasya karyam karanam cha vidyate. And this is all done by his expansion of his unlimited energies, his vibhutis. So anyone else have any comments on this?
Hare Krishna Prabhu, sorry, I'm not able to get the raise hand thing, but well, just this is like more of a reflection and a question. Although we say that he has nothing to do and his energies are doing everything, but like we know, like Krishna has a personal relationship with all of us, even if not us. Like let's say with the gopis, with Yashoda Maya, and all his whatever mood of like whenever he's interacting with the devotees in the mood of love. So where does how to reconcile both of them? I mean, we know of course both are true, but just how to reconcile both these things, that his energies are doing everything.
I think what I understood, I may be wrong, but what I understood is like when we are talking about the material world, especially, there it is mentioned that Krishna is not directly involved, but his only energies are doing this. Like just by his glance, a material world gets impregnated and everything is created. So Krishna doesn't have to directly involve. But when it comes to the pure devotees, like you said, Yashoda Maiya and all the Vrajvasis, there Krishna is personally involved in those dealings, and is personally taken over by the love of those devotees. It's not just his energies. Even though Yog Maya is acting in that scenario also, in Vrindavan Bhav also, to relish the mellows of devotional service, they have to, the Lord and the devotees have to forget their uh, constitutional positions to enhance the rasa. But the Lord is personally involved as a person, the original person, Supreme Personality of Godhead. But that original Krishna, the Gopal, that Gopala doesn't have to be involved in creation of these material energies and material world. That's what I understood from this. I think if anyone have comment or any correction, please feel free to. Yeah, does it make sense, Nunda Mataji and the Gopi?
Yeah, that makes sense. Thank you. That was a beautiful answer.
Thank you. Let's move to next verse. 8.3.25. Jagannath Gopal Prabhu.
Yes. जिजीविषेणाहम् इहा मुया किम् अन्तर्बहिश्चाव ऋतयेभ्य योन्या इच्छामि कालेन नयस्य विप्लवस् तस्यात्मलोका वरणस्य मोक्षम्. Translation: I do not wish to live anymore after I am released from the attack of the crocodile. What is the use of an elephant's body covered externally and internally by ignorance? I simply desire eternal liberation from the covering of ignorance. That covering is not destroyed by the influence of time. In this material world, every living entity is covered by the darkness of ignorance. Therefore, the Vedas enjoin that one should approach the Supreme Lord through the spiritual master, who is described and offered prayers in the Gautamiya Tantra as follows. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. I offer my respectful obeisances unto my spiritual master, who with the torchlight of knowledge has opened my eyes, which were blinded by the darkness of ignorance. Although one may struggle for existence in this material world, to live forever is impossible. One must understand, however, that this struggle for existence is due to ignorance. For otherwise, every living being is an eternal part of the Supreme Lord. There is no need to live as an elephant or man, American or Indian. One should desire only to achieve liberation from the cycle of birth and death. Because of ignorance, we consider every life offered by nature to be happy and pleasing. But in the degraded life, okay, hold on. Because of ignorance, we consider every life offered by nature to be happy and pleasing. But in the degraded life within this material world, from the life of Lord Brahma down to that of an ant, no one can actually be happy. We are making so many plans to live happily, but there cannot be any happiness in this material world. However, we may try to make a permanent settlement in this life or that. Yeah. So, Gajendra is praying for liberation here, liberation from birth and death. And what I like is this: what is the use of an elephant's body covered externally and internally by ignorance? So he's not only actually just desiring liberation from the suffering, but he's desiring liberation from ignorance. There is a very subtle difference between the two things, right? Because the certain class of spiritualists, they desire liberation in the sense that they want to get rid of the material ups and downs, and they want to be situated in tranquility, right? But getting rid of ignorance is something different, because once we get rid of ignorance, when we start seeing things as they are, we actually are led to Krishna, because he's he's the one who destroys, etesham evanu kampartam aham ajnanajam naashayami atmabhavasto jnanadipena bhaskara. So if we desire to be, liberated from ignorance, then Krishna will also fulfill that, and we can slowly move towards him. And then, yeah, no one can be, this point is also nice. Gaur Gopal Prabhu in a recent interview was, speaking about this. Because of ignorance, we consider every life offered by nature to be happy and pleasing. But in the degraded life within this material world, from the life of Lord Brahma down to that of an ant, no one can actually be happy. So we might think that, oh, this guy is a billionaire, so he might be happy. He has everything figured out. But then actually, in a material world, that cannot be. Whoever is at whatever level, they have some struggle going on. They have some problems going on for sure. That is the law of the material world, you can say. And even though externally we might think that, oh, very nice, I want to be like that. I want to live that life. But actually, it doesn't work that way. Externally, even if we see that no one has, like, that person doesn't have any problems, but they actually do. And that is what Prabhupada is writing here. From Lord Brahma to Abrahma Bhuvana Loka, Punaravartino Arjuna. And Yastvindra Gopa Mathavendra Mahosvakarma. From the Indra Gopa to Indra. Indra Gopa is a small insect to Indra. Everybody is suffering. Everybody has some issues. Even Indra, for example, he's always anxious who will take his position and things like that. So yeah, the only way, proper way, is to practice bhakti and pray for liberation from ignorance.
Yeah, thank you, Prabhu, for insisting on this. The first point, the first point you highlighted was that how he's not just desiring liberation from the trouble, but he's desiring liberation from ignorance. And how powerful is this ignorance that you just mentioned, that Indra Gopa verse, and then Abrahma Bhuvana Loka, that this and this ignorance is pervading throughout this material world, from a small Indra Gopa insect who is loitering on some land on earth till the Brahma. They have those material conditionings and material ignorance, and it can work really against our real nature, which is to serve Krishna and love Krishna. I was hearing in one of class of Radhanath Swami Maharaj says that this ignorance is so powerful. It is so powerful that that it can really twist and turn our tendencies, which is originally which is originally full of divine qualities and with love for Krishna. But that same jiva, when covered with ignorance, he becomes like a Kamsa or Hiranyakashipu, who wants to kill Lord, who wants to completely destroy Supreme Personality of Godhead, and they did all they can do to kill Lord. But since in the end they were jiva, and they had to surrender to Lord. So in the same way, like we see people do so many crazy things in the material world. Just like we had New Year, like, so in a class I was hearing this, like the celebration of New Year's nowadays is like a pishachas, like they drink and they dance throughout the night. That's what pishachas do. So the current days celebrations are like that, partying and then concerts. The people miserably try to enjoy this material world. Even though they suffer, they try to enjoy, they try very hard to enjoy, and this is result of ignorance. So the Gajendra here, he's praying to, as Prabhu mentioned, he's not just want to, now he's speaking at more realized state, that he just don't want like the relief from his current trouble, the current pain, but he want relief from this ignorance that the body of elephant he has. And then Prabhupada beautifully narrates here that there is no need to live as an elephant or a man, American or Indian. One should desire only to achieve liberation from the cycle of birth and death, because that's the real problem. That's what the root cause of all and each and every suffering that we go through. Like the Indra was cursed to become a pig, and then he was happy with his pig family. Then Lord Brahma had to remind him that, oh, he is not a pig, he is Indra. But till then, he was not ready to give up the family of pig or the body of pig. So, like, whatever whatever jiva it may be, he tries to defend himself, he tries to continue his so-called life of enjoyment, but that is a result of ignorance, and that ignorance that Gajendra is asking relief from the Lord. So yeah, that we are making the last line, we are making so many plans to live happily, but there cannot be any happiness in this material world. However, we may try to make a permanent settlement in this life or that. I remember on our initiation day, Maharaj was very much stressing on this point, that this, in this crazy world filled with misery at every end, people are trying very hard to get some happiness, and if you are also trying to do that, all the best to you. So, and then he was laughing. So yeah, so this reading these prayers will certainly give us some insights, and Prabhupada's purpose, that how we should look at this material world and how we can try to get rid of the ignorance that we are in. Next verse. Anyone else have any comments on the last purport or translation? Any comments, reflections?
There is some questions on the chat.
Yeah.
Okay. Why Lord Brahma is not happy? He doesn't go through birth, but does he go through diseases, old age, death, and death are understandable. Prabhu, as far my understanding goes, Lord Brahma has to, I mean, his life span, his body is much better than us. It's very close to spiritual body, but still there is end, and I think that's he have to die. At the end of the dissolution, Brahma has to give up his body, and then he will move on. So that uncertainty of losing his existence, his body, is that may be his cause of unhappiness. But I don't think I know more about this. If anyone else can comment on this, please.
So I know that. Sorry, if anyone else wants to go, they can. Uh, answer. But yeah, I know that I heard it that somewhere that Brahma's body is made of intelligence, just like our body is made of 5 elements, 5 gross elements, 3 subtle elements. Like that, his entire body is made up of intelligence, it is said. So he might not have diseases like us, but he definitely, must be facing some crisis of intelligence, in the sense that, for example, in Brahma Vimohan Leela, so he mistook Krishna to be some ordinary kid, and then he tried to test Krishna, and then later on he regretted. So that is, in one sense, that is like a disease of intelligence, that he could not, his he had blocked out his intelligence so much that he could not accept that God can be like this, you know. So yeah, that's what I feel. And yeah, it's yeah, but one thing I'll also say, that our Brahma, like the Chaturmukhi Brahma, he's our Sampradaya Acharya. So he's a very elevated devotee. He's actually a liberated soul, you can say. So he's a very elevated devotee. So yeah, since he's a devotee, that changes all the equations altogether. But then definitely it's uh, in the material world. He's in the material world. That means he does face some kind of crisis.
Yes, and he has lifespan, right? And so that
Yeah, he has a huge lifespan.
a huge lifespan.
Yeah. I mean, just imagine, right? The pralay happens after every Divya Yug, destruction happens. Then he has to create everything again, right? So it's like, I was also hearing somewhere. So we say, right, after every day of Brahma there is pralay and everything. Forget about it day. even the 4 yugas, after 4 yugas, there is destruction. So one devotee was telling, imagine you went to sleep and you woke up and saw that everything around you is destroyed, and now you have to create everything from scratch. It is something like that for him. That is the anxiety level of anxiety that he has to take up.
A lot
So
of
yeah,
lot of work
sorry,
for Brahmadeva.
lot of work. That's the reason no ordinary person can be at the post of Brahma. A person like us, we cannot like be at the level of Brahma. So you need somebody like really advanced and elevated, really powerful. Like the next scheduled Brahma is going to be Hanumanji. I don't know if you have read this or heard this somewhere.
Yes, Prabhu, that is accurate.
Yeah.
Just yesterday we were discussing this. The next Brahma is actually Hanumanji. Also,
Yeah.
Nitya made a very nice point here. So he has limitations also. He cannot offer immortality to anyone who prays to him, and any amount of limitation causes some unhappiness. So that's a good point. And actually, Nitya was Brahma in the past time. So actually, he said that in the play, she said that I cannot give immortality to you. So, so that was
And that's such a point, yeah.
a very nice point, that any amount of limitation causes unhappiness. So on that note, I think so. Prabhu, we are done with your section of verses, Prabhu.
Okay.
So we had to complete till 24. So next week, Jagannath Gopal Prabhu will lead from 25. And 2 weeks from now, we'll be finishing this entire pastime of Gajendra Moksha. But before we end, I just want to give an opportunity for anyone who has not spoken so far to share a reflection or a question or anything in the next 3 or 4 minutes. So we have...
I love Chaitanya Prabhu's last comment, like no work-life balance. Yeah. Like Brahma is also struggling like us.
That's funny. Anybody wants to share anything? We have Kameshwar Prabhu, we have Manishika Mataji, we have Megha Mataji, we have Nupur Mataji.
Yes.
Yes, Megha, go ahead.
Hare Krishna. Oh, no, Prabhu, go ahead.
Sorry, Kameshwar Prabhu, go ahead. Sorry, I didn't realize who unmuted first.
Yes, Prabhu. I think only 1 minute, Prabhu. Only one comment I have. Actually, I like it that Jagannath Gopal Prabhu was, he told us to stamp 2 stamps, to put mine and to put Krishna like that. So actually, this exactly followed by the all brahmacharis in Chaupati temple. They write on their books also, even Bhagavad Gita, whatever book they are carrying, they write it on it. This book is in care of Sri Krishna Chaitanya Das, or their name they write. This book is in care of Gaur Gopal Prabhu. This book is in care of like Gaur Kumar Prabhu. Like that, they don't write the name, even their name also, and their belongings. They write this is in care of some mine, like that. So like that, if we see, everything is in our care only. We have, even our the so-called our own house is in our care. Our car is in our care for the time being. It is temporary. Later on, we don't know, the name changes, the owner changes. So ultimate owner is Krishna, but to remember that, this is in my care. So like that, they practice it actually. I have really surprised when first time I have noticed this. I came to know that through one Prabhu living there. So who is giving our Bhakti Sastrikas, he told that we observe this very strictly. So I just want to add this point on. Thank you, Prabhu.
That's beautiful. Actually, you reminded me of my the days in Voice Forum when I used to live in Voice. Karan Prabhu will definitely have had that experience, and even Vamshidhar Gopal Prabhu. It was a strict instruction to us that we shouldn't write just our name. We should write in care of. Yeah, I remember writing on that on so many books. ICO Jitendra, ICO Jitendra, ICO Jitendra.
Prabhu, thank you so much. Kameshwar Prabhu, thank you so much for sharing, Jagannath Gopal Prabhu. So Megha Mataji, you want to say something?
Oh, what can I say? I just want to say, like, I learned so much, like, from the whole thing, and even the last thing, ICO, is very funny and very nice way to look at things. So I learn a lot. But yeah, like one thing, personal experience stuck with me, like how Krishna will really reveal the next step. So like I'm getting into like more bhakti practices, and it was sort of revealed to me, like in my way. I feel like, and I think I mentioned it to you as well. Like I'm very materialist, and then it was mentioned somewhere like if you want to control your desires, bhakti is the way to go. And I was like I'm even there. I'm very selfish, but it was revealed to me in a way. So I guess yeah, that's valid.
How was it revealed to you?
In a lecture, like I am struggling with like sweets, for example. So I want to like control my tongue in what I say and what I eat. But when the temptation is there, you are unable to do that. And then in second chapter, it's written in Bhagavad Gita that for an enlightened person, senses don't bewilder them. And then in the third chapter, it's written like you have to control the senses first. Otherwise, like an enlightened person can be bewildered. So, like it's a chicken and egg problem in second and third chapter. So then in one lecture, I heard that bhakti is the way to go because you can align your senses, and then slowly, like it can stop bewildering you. And that was my motivation. But it struck the chord. Like I was, yeah. So I was like, I guess it's time to go more
Yeah.
into, these practices. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for sharing that. And also, I want to let everyone know that Megha Mataji reached out to us, Nitya and me, asking us how she can do more service, how she can serve Krishna. Actually, that was so sweet. And then immediately she set up an altar and she started offering. So, congratulations, Mataji. And from the new year, she's has a very, very nice altar and she's offering bhoga to Krishna and having prasad. So thank you for sharing that, and thank you for taking that next step. And you'll see Krishna reveal himself slowly in wonderful ways. Thank you.
In ISV also, Prabhu, I saw Megha many times serving in the temple, serving prasad, and on Janmashtami she was like doing the chappal seva, like the footwear. She was continuously doing it for many hours. So yeah, thank you so much. And
Any small thing, any small seva that you do, Krishna never forgets. And Krishna definitely reciprocates. Thank you. So anyone else wants to speak who has not spoken? So we have Manishika Mataji, Nupur Mataji, Sindhu Kanya Mataji. Okay, no pressure. So Manishika Mataji, please go ahead.
Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam to all the devotees. Actually, I was contemplating on the last verse, and Prabhuji, can you please share the screen? I would like to
Vamshidhar
read
Gopal
and
Prabhu.
speak.
Vamshidhar Gopal Prabhu, can you please share the screen? Yeah, thank you.
Yes, thank you, Prabhuji. So, in the last verse, that said that because of ignorance, we consider every life offered by nature to be happy and pleasing. But in the degraded life within this material world, from the life of Lord Brahma down to that of an ant, no one can actually be happy. We are making so many plans to live happily, but there cannot be any happiness in this material world, however, we may try to make a permanent settlement in this life for that. So, I was thinking that how funny is this that in this Dukhalayam, we are running everywhere to find sukh or happiness. And also, we are temporary in this world. Everything is temporary, it's Shashwat. And we are not immortal. We take birth, and after a certain amount of time, we die. And we don't realize it that this world is full of problems, especially with the four problems that are Janma, Mrityu, Jara, Vyadhi. And in the spiritual world, it's not like that. It's free from miseries, and there is permanent happiness, because there everything is related to Krishna. And in so many kathas we hear that gopis would leave everything just to be with Krishna, and animals would start dancing when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu used to sing or chant the holy names. And so many pastimes we have heard, and collectively when we hear them, like we were doing now, reading and hearing about Krishna, and the pastimes of their devotees, of his devotees. Even though I am an unqualified person, and still all of you have given me a chance to speak. So see how we are getting that happiness while we are discussing. Also, when we hear lectures from Maharaj now, how he gets so immersed into the pastimes while speaking, and we generally experience that we are able to see the pastimes with our own eyes, and we get those tingly sensations, the goosebumps. So imagine how happy we get when we hear about Krishna. and and I was thinking that what will happen when we go to Goloka Vrindavan, the Krishna Loka, and experience it ourselves. So yes, that was the thing that I was thinking, that how happy we will get um, when we go to Krishna Loka.
Yes, thank you for sharing that. And one thing I want to share based on what you said is that we get that happiness because we are all reading and hearing about Krishna together in the association of devotees. You can try this actually. If you try to read by yourself alone, then you will not get this much of bliss and happiness. It is only in the association of devotees when we really churn the Bhagavatam like how we are doing now, then only we get that real bliss. And definitely Srila Prabhupada mentioned that in the spiritual world, there will be a place where we can all be together. And I'm hoping and praying that very soon, eventually we'll all be there together, having a life of devotion there in the spiritual world. So it will happen. It's just a matter of time. So thank you, Manishika Mataji, for sharing that point. And yeah, anyone else wants to speak? Otherwise, I just have a couple of quick announcements. So yeah, just 1 minute I'll give if anybody wants to speak. Otherwise, I just want to give yeah. So the announcement is that so Nitya actually posted in the Life of Devotion group for Sadhu Sangha 2023. I strongly recommend Sadhu Sangha, attending Sadhu Sangha. The accommodations are very, very nice. It'll be like in a hotel. This time it's in a hotel, a very good hotel. So they've taken the whole hotel for Sadhu Sangha. The kitchen, everything will be taken over by devotees. So the thing is that they're not taking care of accommodations in the sense that we can all choose who we want to stay with as a group. So I strongly encourage, if you have not signed up on the link that Nitya has sent on the group, and if you're interested in attending, so this is from May 26th to 29th, the Memorial Day weekend. So I did not see many names signed up yet. So we need to know by this weekend because Jan 8th is the date of registration. So if you can let us know, or if you can just sign up on that, then we'll know how many rooms and who will stay with whom and so on. Individual private rooms are much more expensive, but if you book like this in a group, then it'll be to our benefit and we can all get each other's association also. So my tentative plan was to book like two rooms for Prabhujis and 2 rooms for Matajis. But yeah, Jagannath Gopal, you want to add anything?
No, so I was just going to ask how is this, how we are going about doing, I mean, going to go about doing this. So is it like, let's say there are 8 Prabhus and 8 Matajis.
Yeah.
So then we'll have 4 devotees and like have the four names each on their apps, and then they'll book for
Yeah,
4.
so we have asked, so we are asking the organizers and we will get back. But I think everyone has to register, but as far as accommodations are concerned, we can pick and choose who we want to stay with. So that is
Right. So like signing up to stay together does not automatically mean that registrations will happen. Registrations we have to do on our own.
yes,
correct?
yes.
Okay.
That's correct.
Okay.
So that is
Okay.
the first announcement. The second thing is all of you know Chaitanya Charan Prabhu, and so he went to Oman recently, and then he came back to Chowpatty, and then he was just going to his room in the Brahmacharya ashram, and yeah, he slipped while walking, and he fell and he hit a corner of a door, and so he was injured, and a lot of some stitches have been put on his head and so on. So I request all of you to pray for him, like so if you can please pray for him to your local deity, I mean home deities. So that will really help. So thank you all so much. Thank you, Megha, for saying that you'll pray for him. So yeah, I think collective prayers also really help, like how we saw. So Lekha Mataji's father was is doing well now. Am I right, Mataji? Like last week, he had his surgery.
Yes, Prabhu. Thanks for all of your prayers. He's actually recovering much faster than we expected. He's actually able to like walk and move around. So thanks to you. Like it like we none of us expected this. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you. And also, Ananya Bhakti Mataji's father is still not completely recovered. He has some heart issues. So please continue to pray for him as well. So even in this small group, we see that there are so many things. We are all at different levels in our bhakti. We are all at different stages in our life. Some of us are about to get married. Some of us are about to have children. Some of us are getting old and getting diseases. Some of us are having children who are about to get married. In this group itself, I'm seeing names, and I'm thinking about all the devotees here. So we are at different stages, but my humble request is that please be connected with devotees and keep Krishna in the foreground whenever you can. And then if you have other things to do, then Krishna will go in the background, but that's also okay. But as long as Krishna is there, either in the foreground or background, and through that connection, we can all be very, very blissful, actually. You will realize it over a period of time that it's a wonderful process. So that's my only request, and thank you all so much. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya evacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Ananta koti vaishnavrinda ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you.